we're going to move on to... Actually, I can't lie. The division I'm maybe the most excited for, which is Division 4. I am so lucky to be on the comms box for Div 4 in Monza. I cannot wait. It's going to be the funnest thing ever because we've won a title fight we've got in this division. But first of all, where is the Constructors title going to go? Because we've got a similar situation, maybe two teams.
Constructors is going to Ferraris, and then we'll move on then. So and then it'll probably be, I can't lie, it probably will be Haas in P2.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like Haas are the ones who are going to just absolutely turn up this season. I think if Jamie finds his rhythm, I think Haas fighting for P1 is going to be Jamie. I think Khalek's going to do it. Khalek's going to be up in the fight. Khalek's going to be there. I feel like Jamie needs to find his own groove a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think we've seen that improvement from him. Obviously, he was signed at Alfa Romeo right at the start of season 1, dropped his seat after it didn't turn up to races, and it was quite inconsistent. Came back to Haas, started training, showed he cares about this league and is pushing for it. And while we have seen him set some really good laps, he's been on the front row in Kota and qualifying. He's been up there fighting for podiums and top fives. We have also seen the mistakes. He has spun a few times. He has made his own mistakes on his own. Unforced errors is not what you want to be doing when you're fighting for a Constructors' Championship, 100%. And when you're up against two drivers who have 4 and 1 Constructors' Championships and Drivers' Championships, Five Eyes and Bays, and in an 8-race season where one DNF is worth 2 in a normal season,
absolutely,
you need to. Yeah, it's things that need to be ironed out ASAP if you want to be genuinely fighting for it. So yeah, I put Ferrari as well, but I agree Haas P2.
Yeah.
Again, what is your 1, 2, 3? What is your 3, 2, 1? Who is getting the Drivers' Championship?
Before we go on, I do want to give a shout out to Alfa Romeo as well. I feel like they're
yeah.
I feel like they're going to definitely be a very strong contender in Div 4. I feel like Vlad, was the ex-Ferrari driver, really good raw pace in his day, knows how to bring home race wins, knows how to win a title. And then Breezy, K1 Yo, this is obviously his debut season, was last season. He had a great debut season, slowly got his way into the rhythm. By the second half of the season, he was fighting for wins and podiums. I think if he continues on the same rate of improvement, he's going to be a monster. So I feel like Alfa Romeo are definitely going to be in there as well. I think if Jamie's not careful, Haas are going to lose it to Alfa Romeo. That's my prediction.
No, I agree.
No pressure, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the podcast in the live one saying, "Oh, that's a podium, that's a win, that's a podium, that's a pole."
Yeah, for real. He was actually. That's a very good point.
Show me what you got.
You have to, McMahon. You have to.
No, I do agree. I think Vlad, and I'll talk about this when we talk about the Drivers' Championship as well. Vlad definitely didn't have the season 1 he expected to have. I think that's fair to say. And it was, I'm sure, difficult for him because we were expecting him to be. To my memory, I think he predicted him to win the title, but I think you were up there somewhere. But we were certainly expecting him to be more up there than he was. He wasn't even in the title fight at all really this season. It's unfortunate he lost his seat from Ferrari to Alfa Romeo as well, which must have been a confidence hit as well. He's brought it back. He's shown he's got the good pace.
I think he improved from going for Alfa Romeo, though. I think from ever since.
No, but the idea of him going down might have done.
Yeah, but I think it did better for him for his head. He even said that himself. Like he said he found a happier home at Alfa for now. So.
Fair, that's good then.
Yeah, who knows?
But either way, it's not this championship I'm sure he expected to have. On the other side of the garage, K1 Yo has gone from not league racing ever at the start of the season to arguably a front runner, and certainly one going into the next season. Incredible improvement in ability, in skill, in pace from that driver. I don't think he's going to fight for the title this season because I think that we've got a really competitive group. But I do think he's a future star. I 100% think he's a future star, and a perfect driver for Alfa Romeo.
Agreed.
So yes, good honourable mention for those guys. I think they agree. I think they deserve it. Top three. All I'm gonna say. P1, I was pretty certain on. With all due respect, P1 I was pretty certain on. The rest of it, no idea. The rest of it, 2 and 3 was between, I think, 6 drivers. Genuinely between 6. I had no idea. This division is incredible. Do it slowly. Let's go one by one because I actually want to know what you put. Who did you put P1? Is your P1? Go on.
Instead of doing this in the usual way, I say mine, you say yours. What we'll do is
Okay.
we'll start with P3, and we'll both say our P3. So,
Okay.
my P3
Okay.
is Five Wise.
Ooh, my P3 is Dan Tucker.
Interesting.
Oh no!
Very spicy.
I
Interesting.
oh no!
The
What we-
ex-Ferrari driver and the new Ferrari driver. Very
Facts.
or returning Ferrari driver, we should technically say.
But yeah.
But
What I think a lot of this division is drivers who maybe in this title fight will build up their confidence. You see drivers like Five Wise and Bays, difficult season 1, and they got moved down the division. You see drivers like Dan and Vlad, difficult season 1. Probably expected them to be closer to the title fight, and they weren't. You have drivers like Jamie and Kalik. Kalik is new to the field. Jamie, pretty new to the field because he went and came back again. It's such a clash of drivers who want to prove themselves, drivers who have the ability in this division to prove themselves. The title fight could go in any way. In retrospect, we have our predictions, but any of them could win it, realistically. We don't know how they're going to perform. So it's an interesting one that you've gone actually that way, because Dan and Five Wise, different situations, almost different stories,
Yeah.
but they're in the same kind of boat at the end of the day. But yeah, why Five Wise? Why Five Wise? That sounds so mean. Why Five Wise?
Why Five Wise? Because he's going to cook.
Why?
I think he's going to cook. I think he's
gonna cook.
there's a reason he's the most expensive driver on that grid right now, Avi.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he is. Yeah, he is.
I think he's going to be. I think the only problem is we're not going to be able to do from a Ferrari perspective, we're not going to be able to do that much development this season because we haven't got really the room to try anything new. Like we have to get him as a driver just to rest on his laurels and just rinse and repeat these races till we get through this season. Because if there's ever a season I'm going to lose the overall, it's going to be this one.
Everyone asking, oh my goodness, how is Ferrari in debt? Why is the best team in the grid in debt? Because we've thrown everything. We need everything with all the best drivers in this division in this season. Sorry.
Yeah. So for me, my part of my strategy, I'm not doing too much. There's not going to be any trying anything new with any of these drivers, really, for the most part, because I haven't got the room to take 2 races to get used to this. We just haven't got that space. So that's what, a quarter of the season. So which is nuts. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very much a matter of we have to be unlocked. So I think Five Wise isn't going to develop that much this season, but I think next season we're going to find more of a progression from that. I think he's just going to take the season, get settled in. He's going to bang big points. He's going to get a win or 2. He's going to lots of podiums. He's going to have a great season.
You hear that, Kieran? I know you're listening.
I know you're listening, and this is a good position to be in. This is praise. This is not don't think this is shade. P3 is there. I think you're going to bring him bucks for Ferrari, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Before I say my P2, I would just like to say I didn't have Dan originally for P3. I have gone for Dan. Oh, actually, I'll explain Dan, actually. I didn't have Dan originally. I changed it for a different driver. And before I say my P2, I'll say who I didn't put. But in terms of Dan, he's a driver who showed glimpses of where he think he should have been.
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, okay.
I think I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to say it.
No. Yeah.
If you're about to say what I think you're going to say,
We'll see.
hands will be thrown.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Dan showed glimpses of his pace. He clearly has raw pace. Got pole in China. Was up there in Saudi as well. I think this is the break he needs. He's gone to a team like Mercedes, which is mid. It says mean to say midfield, but it is a midfielder team than Ferrari is. Takes the pressure off a little bit. He's with Dylan as well. He's with Moss Megan. I think that'll be a good pairing for them to work together quite well. There's obviously a good friendship there between those two as well. So I think that's going to be a good P3 for Dan. If he's able to pick up P3, maybe grab a win or 2. We know he's able to. That'll be good. P2. Before I say P2, who I didn't put P3. Okay, with all due respect to Jamie, Vlad, and Bays, I haven't put you in my top 3. For P2, I've gone for my brother. I have gone for the monster. I can't wait to see him up at the front. I've gone for Five Wise P2.
Interesting. Interesting.
He's got pace. He's got pace. He's got the experience of racing alongside and against people.
No,
A division above him.
Absolutely.
A division above him.
Absolutely.
There's a reason he's the most expensive driver on that field. It's not even like to disrespect the driver, because I did actually originally have Vlad written down and I changed it to Dan. Vlad's got very good pace. James got very good pace. I mean, there's so many drivers, so many names. Pistol Peter was up there in potentially the title fight at the start of the season. I think Five Wise has got a lot to prove, a lot to show, and from what he said, I think he's got the drive to do it. I think Five Wise will finish P2.
Very fair.
What about you? Who have you put P2?
I've put who then you obviously have put P1. I put Kalik as P2.
Ooh.
I feel like right track, right conditions, he is the fastest one on the grid. I feel like it is every season he's gonna get a nice championship. It's gonna be a sprint season. I think if it was a long season, he would probably be maybe P3. I don't think he's the most consistent in the world. Like his results tend to fluctuate sometimes from like the top to the bottom. It's not like a driver like myself where I'll always be like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe 9th at worst. Like I think my worst result this season was 10th once.
Same.
So
10th once.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So and then it was always 6, 7 better. I feel like Kalik can really drop into those teens on a bad race, and I feel like that's going to be my only hindrance I only worry about him if is 2 of those is quarter of a season, and if the rest of the field turn up, you're going to lose loads of points on those weeks. So take one of your title rivals out with you if you crash is the mantra for season 2 in XRS. Don't crash alone. Crash with someone.
Yeah, that's fair. So P1, I'm gonna go on. Who put P1?
I put Baze as P1. He's my boy.
Oh!
I have to. I just have to. I have to.
Oh, we're gonna go Five Wise. Was it Five Wise not even top 3? Oh, and I
no, Five Wise is my P3.
That's crazy.
Five Wise is my top. Five Wise is free.
Wait,
Five Wise.
Oh, you said Five
Kalik.
Wise 3. Of course, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What am I saying?
Five Wise, Kalik, Baze.
So I forgot Five Wise. I thought you were gonna put Five Wise 1.
I'm putting Baze. I'm putting Baze. He's my boy. I think he's a monster. I think he's going to find his rhythm again. I know he was going for a rough time there. It's bouncing back. Things are going back up again. It's going to be good. He's going to come back to the Baze you all know and love so much. He's going to come back and he's here to mop up another championship. He's here to do another sweep. He's back in his bullshit. So I'm very much looking forward to him rampage through a division again. Should be good to see.
Yeah.
But I think Kalik's going to be a monster. I think Kalik.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The races Kalik wins, he's going to win them by 10 seconds. I think the other ones he's going to be in the P5 fight if he doesn't make a big mistake.
Yeah, you might be right actually. I mean, Kalik had like 2 incredible drives, Singapore and Hungary, I think they were, and then the rest of them he was up there or in the middle. One thing that holds him back definitely is his qualifying pace, but there's also something that held Baze back as well. I mean. But look, Baze was my first XRS teammate. If anyone could win, he would be one of my favourites to win 100%. Because obviously, I would say Five Wise and Dan as well, Vlad as well. I'm good friends with. I would love Baze to win. I would love Baze to win it, but I haven't put him top 3. He had a difficult season 1. When he bounces back from it, 100%, he's going P1. He ain't going P2 or 3. But I think that an 8-race season, a week after where your difficult season was, I think he needs a bit of time to get back into the groove. So that's why I haven't put him top 3. P1, I have gone Kalik. I think that Kalik will win it, but I don't think he'll win it by as far as everyone thinks he will. I think that Five Wise and Dan and Vlad and Baze and Baldy maybe will take the fight to him. I mean, Cajun, we saw Cajun in his really strong qualifying pace. Obviously, he has a bit of race pace to clean up a bit, but absolutely, I think we have got a really good title fight. I do think Kalik will win it, but I don't think he'll do it by far. He has got the quite a good race pace. Strategy seems to be pretty good. Qualifying a little bit wobbly. I think he might start a few races in a position that's not as happy as I'm sure he would want to be, which might be something to mop up.
One turn one incident, and you could be losing big
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. But yeah, all in all, what have we learned from this? So many people could win the title because we've both gone for very different orders, which is a league owner and head admin's dream. Realistically, is who's going to win it? No idea. Absolutely no idea.
Not a clue.
But there we go. Best driver pairing. Who do you think is going to work best together as teammates?
Has to be the Irish boys in the
Has
Ferrari seats. Has to be
Has to be.
the two Irish
Has to
boys.
be.
What
Has to
heroes! They've done it before. They'll do it again. They're here to clean up.
Absolutely.
They have a good time. I'm looking forward thoroughly to seeing what these boys can bring to the table.
Yep, completely agree. You can't go against them. They've worked well together before. They're familiar with each other. They've met each other. So they are. So I think they are a power duo. I think they're going to be a power duo. They're going to work very well together. Teammate rivalry. I don't want to go.
Hit me with yours. Hit me with yours.
Teammate rivalry. I've gone for. I've gone for the Wreckfest boys. I've gone for the Alvataris.
Yes. I've gone for the ones who think they're playing Wreckfest. We've gone for the ones who think they're playing Wreckfest. It is it's not a last man standing. It is not a demolition derby. It is a Formula One race. Can we please remind ourselves of this fact?
Pistol Peter. You know what it is? Pistol Peter really upsets me because he has some real potential. If you cast your memory back to the start of season 1, he was on the podium in every race. He was up there in the podium in every race. I think he had one off race, and he was always there. He was unbelievable. Cast your mind a little bit farther forward to Abu Dhabi. Did you remember Pistol Peter as anything other than the season-bound merchant?
No.
Nothing. Like, Pistol Peter, if you're listening to this, he has something to prove, exactly the same as Five Wise, Baze, Dan, Vlad, for having a season 1 that wasn't particularly perfect. His is different. His started unreal. His started unbelievably, and then transitioned to, we've got a pickle here. I mean, his incident in Monza will always be remembered with Liam. What on earth has happened there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to watch that back, give me views, go watch the highlights. Yeah, Pistol Peter, he has something to prove. Do I think he'll be able to get up there and fight for wins and podiums? Absolutely. But he has some cleaning up to do. He has some mopping up to do in his driving style. As for Reece Tomo, a lack of racing knowledge is what holds him back. I think the amount of resets to track, moving under braking, weaving on the straight is going to rack up to a penalty point level to give you quali bans and race bans has already been lowered because it's a short season. Mm-hmm. If you get a quali ban in an 8, I can't even show this enough. It's exactly the same as attendance. If you get a quali ban in an 8 race season, if you get God forbid a race ban in an 8 race season, you're in trouble. That's an enormous amount of points that you lose. And AlphaTauri's main risk is actually a bit like Ferrari in real life. Their main rivals aren't someone else; it's actually themselves. So let's hope that they can. Let's hope that they can, have a good season. Is what I'd say. But go on. What do you think?
I would echo everything you said. You've taken the words from my head and you've just splattered them all over the internet. I want to echo everything you said. I feel like penalty point merchant, boys who think they're playing Wreckfest. It's going to be good. It's going to be good to see if they realise what category of motorsport they're racing in. But yeah, beyond that, should be good fun. But,
we're going to move on to, I think, potentially one of the most interesting one, the one I get pinged about the most, the one I get asked about the most. For the final, for the end, to finish off these predictions, we're going to finish it with the overall Constructors' Championship. But not just the winner, or just top 3. 1st to 10th, or 10th to 1st, actually, sorry, I should say. We're going to talk about every single team, leaving none. Who do we think is going to get anywhere in the OCC? While I switch around my screen and we discover this together. Who do you think is going to be where in the overall Constructors' Championship? Would you like to start with P10?
I would. And I think, unfortunately, starting at the bottom, it's going to be Williams.
Yeah.
They're the team with the most free spots in the seat in the team in terms of open seats. Now, this may mean that they have, but also the opportunity to potentially gather some reserves. Unfortunately, it's a sprint season. Haven't got that much time to do it. You kind of want the drivers now. Even a midfield
absolutely.
driver now. It's the old mantra of doing a little of something badly is better than doing nothing at all. So yeah,
Agreed.
it's kind of a situation that they're in. So I just feel like they also have a few just kind of in fields of monsters. They just have a few sheep in their lineup in a couple of places. I'm not gonna go into specifics there, but I think there's just a few drivers who are just not underwhelming, but they're sheep surrounded by wolves, I think.
I think this is something I have preached going into this new season, that the standard of the team has rocketed up. If you remember back in season 1, when everyone was saying, "Oh, Ferrari are so good, they've got a title fighter in every division." Now they've got a title fighter in every seat, arguably. The standard has got up that I would argue that a midfield team in season 1 would be finishing last in season 2. Because when we were making this order, and if you would like to, you in the audience would like to have a little look at the divisions as well, every division has got some reason for us to think, they can't be last.
For the content, drop your top 10 in the comments below. Drop them now. Drop them now. No editing. Drop them. Pause the video. I've given you 10th. I've given you my reasons. We can all write Williams as 10th if we really want to, and then they can prove us all wrong.
Paul Williams.
Paul Williams. But yes, everyone write down their top 10 now in the comments, and I want to see what you wrote before we did ours. So yes, write them down now. But pretend you didn't hear us say Williams. Pretend that happened, and then write down your. Yeah.
I hate to say the W word again, but Peter and I have also gone Williams. Exactly what you said. I think that what they lack is, it's not even like they lack top drivers. It's what they lack is how many top drivers they have, because for real. Because like when we were sat here making this order, I don't know what Raven's order is for any of this. We're discovering it at the same time, but we did it at the same time. And what we were talking to each other is, oh my god, what do we put for P10? We're seeing Tixi, for example, a pretty assured front runner in Division 1. Rapid driver.
Insane.
He's in Williams.
Insanely quick.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
We can't put Williams P10. They've got Tixi. Who are we putting top 10?
They've got Liam. They've got Melvin.
They've got Liam. They've got Melvin.
But
who are we putting 10th? Someone has to go 10th. You know what I mean? We're going into season 2 in a situation where every team has something. Some kind of little golden sparkle where we're thinking something can happen from this. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why this golden sparkle won't put them P10, but someone has to be P10.
Yeah,
I think
it's crazy to have a driver like Tixi who, the old adage of motorsport: you want to win in motorsport, you hire a Finn. Like he's an absolutely flying Finn at the front, and he's just so quick. He was so quick in Abu Dhabi. They've got Liam and Melvin there who are going to be a real like points haul for their Div 3. But yeah, I just feel like there's a few open seats. There's a few spots here and there. They haven't got really the time to find them. They're gonna have to really bank on good reserves and hope that the ones later on don't. I hope that their drivers turn up later on, that they do sign. I feel like the team that Williams have now comes P6 in the overall from season 1. I think they're bottom now.
Yeah, I agree. And they're also the only team that has lots of free spots. I mean, actually, of the 80 free seats, McLaren are missing 1. Alpine are missing 1, Aston Martin are missing 1. But besides Aston Martin, all those seats can be just filled with money. Williams are missing 2, one in Division 2, one in Division 4. That's 2 seats that are going to be, they're not going to be getting points. I mean, let's not forget the reserve rule's gone down. You can only use 3 in a season in a certain division. That's not going to last you very far. Not if you're aiming to fight for anything over the P10. Nothing against Williams, you know what I mean? I like the team. But there's also a lack of planning as well. I mean, they've maybe they consider the AlphaTauri aren't in their fight, but they bought Adam Klimak for less than he was even worth, just to fill a seat. Go for a reserve. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Bring down a rival by forcing them to keep that driver they didn't want. You know what I mean? There was another one. I think was selling Thomas as well. Why? And you sold Thomas, opened up a seat. You know what I mean? fill it at least. You know what I mean? Or if
You've
you
got
get-
loads of money now.
Loads of money.
Williams are a very wealthy team. They're
They're
a very
the
wealthy
rich. Oh no,
team.
they're not McLaren. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, if you include assets, yes.
Yeah, so if you exclude drivers and look at a just net balance, McLaren is the most got the most money, then Williams. I can assure everyone watching this, Williams has enough money to buy many drivers in the 2 seats that they have open, not just one. It's not a money restraint. It's a I don't know what the restraint is, because if I was Williams TP, I already know who I'd sign for Div 2, and that's Miles. I think Miles is 100%. Or actually, Miles, Wavy, Mick, there's 3. I would instantly go, you know what? They're 3 good drivers. They're going to show up. They're active in the league. Division 4, I'd go for Throne Globe personally. Or Mattia. Mattia's a front runner. He was an Alfa Romeo, wasn't he? Attendance might pull him back a little bit, but but I'm just not seeing activity. It's not just a driver's point of view; it's also the foundation. And we've talked about this since the start of season 1. It's not just about the drivers; it's what happens off track as well that makes such an enormous difference. If you look at if you look at some of the teams some of the teams last season, I would argue that McLaren. McLaren's a hard one actually because they lost a couple of drivers. But anyway, people that have beaten another team in an OCC, a lot of what they've done might be off track, not just on track. It's the development, the foundation, what they're giving their drivers, helping their drivers with off track. It's not just on track as well. So
yeah, for sure.
It's something we'll obviously see in Williams maybe, but I have gone for them P10. Who have you gone P9? I want to leave mine out until I tell you because my P9's a bit interesting. That's all I'll say.
So's mine. Mine's Red Bull.
I've gone Red Bull as well. No way.
I can't lie. Blake. I'm sorry, Blake. I think it's a similar situation to Williams. They just haven't got enough monsters in there.
Yeah, I agree. What Red Bull do have is one of the strongest Div 3 lineups. Nick and Tom not only work well together off track, but they're also, especially Nick, he's going to be a front runner on track. What they lack is that across the board.
I also feel like a lot of other teams that were mentioned slightly further up will have like one direct like front runner. I think even Red Bull's front runner team are still front of the mid, like the 0.1, 0.5, you know what I mean? Because you've got the McLaren Ferrari, and I think the Red Bull are fighting for that P3 spot, and I feel like the fact that I think the reason why Red Bull are 9th for me is because Red Bull's best division is P3 at best, I think. So and I think that's an indication for just the general strength throughout the team, and I genuinely think they're going to come 9th.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it's unfortunate because I feel like I don't think 9th is a fair reflection of how good Blake is as a TP. I just feel like that's his lineup right now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It's tricky when you see that a performance of a whole team reflects on a team principle. Yes, 100% they have the biggest input of anyone, but it's not a season 1 cook. I mean, what we saw from Alfa Romeo to jump from 10th to 2nd in one season, that's not going to happen again. Not at the level it did, and that's due to incredible planning by Dodo, bringing the drivers over from the previous league in KRL for less money and benefiting off those. We're not going to do that again. You're now fighting off what you did in the previous season. Red Bull were a sinking ship in season 1 from start to finish. There was no up for them, and this is just the product of that. I don't think there was much Blake could have done better. So I hope that it's a long cook for him, and he sees going into season 3 a bit more stability with that team. But for now, certainly I agree it's going to be P9.
Yeah, for sure.
Who have you gone for P8? A little bit higher.
Give me your P8.
Okay.
I like this.
P8 was a tricky one. This area, I can't lie, from P9 to about P6, I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I blue screen.
I thought about that more than I thought about the front of the OCC.
Agreed. Yeah.
P8, I have actually gone for Aston Martin. I think it's a similar situation than what you see with Red Bull. Their best division for sure is Div 1. Neb and Pau, unreal duo there. 2 arguably front runners. I put them in winning the constructors for a reason. Obviously that's debatable. There's a lot of top drivers there. I think that one thing I would like to point out actually is Corb. Well, he's an interesting public figure, is all I'll say. He's always there in general. He has people that don't like him and do like him. He's a controversial guy, and I'm sure he enjoys being that.
He's a Marmite character. You love him.
He is a Marmite character. What I will say about Corb disregarding any of that, is what he did in Williams is certain. It's not even like it's a consideration. And I've said this before.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. If you don't know the story, the Williams and Corb fallout. He lost his seat due to poor performances, and he got dropped for 50 mil by the Williams C principal. And from there, Williams went from being a solid midfield runner, looking to finish around P6, maybe P5, and they dropped down to wherever they finished, like P8, P9. And I was joking, you know what I mean? I said to because obviously there was the fact that Corb was doing all of this. Corb was the one running the team. It wasn't even the team principal Stein. I thought they were joking. I thought, okay, well if they magically drop off, then fine, I'll believe you. I thought Williams would just be able to hold on to what they have. No, they dropped off. They went this. They rocketed down. Corb is now bringing what is almost a certain amount of management, and he's a very public figure, so he knows about the drivers in the league, helping with the signings. He's now bringing that into another low team. I mean, if we look at evidence, if we look at what's happened before, Aston should go up. And I've put them P8. It's an interesting one.
Interesting you say that. For those reasons, I haven't put Aston P8. I put them slightly higher up. I put Alpine as P8.
Yeah.
I heard you say A
that's
and thought we were gonna do the same pattern. I put Alpine as P8. I feel like I think they're just in a very similar situation to Red Bull. I feel like the difference between Red Bull and Alpine is Alpine are going up and Red Bull are going down. So I think P8 from Alpine is a great. I think the Alpine team right now fights for P4 in last season's teams. So they've definitely improved. They've 100% improved. Maybe not P4, but P5 for sure. They've definitely improved. Their Div 1 is really strong now. I just feel like they're a team that's finding themselves. Their Div 3 is quite strong as well. There's good drivers in there. They're spotted in few, but they're in there. I feel like they're going to be pushed up to P8. Give me your P7, Abby.
I will, and I'll mix it with my P8. My P7 is Alpine, and the reason I've gone for the reason I've gone for reverse of what you've done is an interesting one, and what we're beginning to see with these two principals. I mean, the first time we saw actually was Banjo in Red Bull when he completely cut out his Division 2 and went all hands on deck for the other three. We are starting to see legitimate strategy with these two principals and their methods of advancing to the next season. What we've seen from Cajun is, we've got a short season, go for it. Spend all the money, spend it all. He is literally an eyelash's width away from the cap of, well, should this guy be losing his team principal? He is in so far debt. What he's benefit from that is a team that could take him much, much higher than it did last season. Alpine, on the other hand, have gone for a bit more passive, conservative. Get some good points. We'll start stacking it up. We'll go for it. In a couple seasons, maybe next season, we'll go for it. Save it up. And what they've got with that is 7, and they haven't filled their Division 4 seat. 7 consistent drivers. They've got 7 solid point scorers. What I think will happen is that if Aston Martin, and as you know what it is, because when we did the predictions in season 1, the lineups changed so much. If Aston Martin experience a big lineup change, they haven't got the money, all the resources to fix that. So they've gone very aggressive. If anything, they're basically gone a full quali lap and they're pushing every corner. If they make one mistake, it's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're then getting 8, 9 positions lower than they were aiming for. You know what I mean? Alpine are going for a banker. I think it will work out because we've seen how many changes we've seen in season 1. I think there'll be less changes, 100%, because it's the second season. The league's getting more, loyalty to all the teams and stuff like that. Another thing that stuck out to me in Aston Martin, Div 3. So they have, and I've talked to Cajun. I mean, I didn't even have to talk to Cajun because he doesn't have an option anyway. He is leaving that seat empty. He's the only team that's leaving a seat empty guaranteed. The rest of them are getting filled. That's a fair strategy. He said he's going to use reserves because he hasn't got the money to do it. He's just going to keep it safe. Gone to the Moon, on the other hand, is turned up for how many races? 2, 3. Yeah. That is not a points and enough points to genuinely compete. I think Aston Martin might actually finish 10th in that constructors, so that's going to be a tricky one. Yeah. But go on.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah, and then Alpine P7. Yes. P6. Moving on.
My P7. My P7, because you're presuming my P7 is Aston Martin. Aston isn't.
Is it not? Oh,
it's not. It's Mercedes.
Ooh,
And
okay.
I'm going to include my P6 with this one, which is Aston Martin. And I
Okay.
feel like the reason why P7 is Mercedes because I feel like Aston Martin are going to do. I think they're going to do the reasons why you said P8. I think they're going to do so well at that. They're going to do P6.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
they've got enough experience in there now to really turn things around. I think Korb, Neb are both kind of like Korb basically ran, well, not I won't say basically ran the Williams team, but Korb definitely was a very influential member in the running of the Williams team. Neb has ran teams in his past, maybe not didn't do so well at Red Bull, but certainly did well at Haas back in KRL. Poe's a fantastic driver who's experienced with league races and league racing in general. I think Aston Martin really have a strong injection. I think if the way Cajun and Kine, whatever you say his name, I think the way he spent his money has been strong. It's been aggressive, but I think I don't think he spent too badly, to be honest. I feel like Rosman even gets on with Korb very well, and they enjoy driving together at Williams. And the best Rosman we saw was alongside Korb in Williams, was not at Tauri. He dropped off going at Tauri.
He did, yeah.
So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be interesting. But I think Aston go P6, and I think Mercedes. I think Dylan's done a very good job. I just think I think they're going to stay where they are pretty much. I think the seventh last season were they?
Yes,
I think they were. So I think they're genuinely just going to stay where they are, which is in terms of Dylan, I think that's an achievement in itself.
absolutely. I hope the team principals don't see this as, or if you don't improve. I hope Blake doesn't see this as, I'm a terrible team principal, but they think I'm going to go downwards. It's not
Every
downwards.
team principal's good. Every team principal is good.
And it's not necessarily downwards. The standards have gone up. You know what I mean? Do the best you can, but we will see how it works. I've put P6.
Staying where you are now. Staying where you are now is a lower position than last season. So if you stay where you are as an ability, you're going to be lower down. And that's why I think it's an achievement for Dylan to be going into Mercedes and finishing where he started, because that's his improvement. He's improved, stay them where they are, and then he can look at building. Right, where do I need to build on my own success now to get us into the next one? Where's my next step to get us into the front ones? And I feel like he's done enough to cement that position. But I think Aston Martin had that last season, and then now they've Cajun's really kind of worked out his strategy. He's gone for it this season, and I feel like the fact that Aston are going for it this season and Mercedes aren't as much, I think it's going to swap them two around. Give me a P6.
P6 Mercedes. I think that they will edge it.
Fair.
There's a lot of question marks in that team. Obviously, Ransdale, brand new driver, toxic, hasn't been in a team where they've pushed him. He's just been a reserve. Flair, of course, brand new driver to this league properly racing. Lopez hasn't raced yet. If those question marks turn to ticks, I think Mercedes will be in a good position. And gaining one position is incredible for them. Exactly how I said. Exactly how you said as well. The standard has gone up. If they're able to get a P6, I think that's a very, very solid finish. Now we're getting to the front five. I think, with all due respect, I think there is a split. I think there is top five, bottom five. I think there is a split of sorts. But do tell me, who is your P5?
I have put down the Steady Eddies, the P4 Merchants, AlphaTauri. I think they're going to. Exactly what we talked about earlier with staying where you are is going down. I think honestly they're staying where they are. I feel like the improvements they've made in some departments have been overshadowed by the lack of improvements in other places. I feel like for every improvement they've made, they've lost one as well. You know what I mean? So. I just don't feel like the team. I feel like Reese and Div 1 are going to do a lot again. I think Matt and Pink are going to do really good in Div 3, but I think Div 2 isn't going to be as strong. I don't think Div 4 is going to be anything to write home about, to be honest. So, apart from maybe just, we got another penalty point today. So, I think AlphaTauri are going to stay where they are in ability and slip down one position into P5. Yourself.
Very fair, very fair. I was going to change it now, but I'm going to stick with what it is because I do believe what I've put. Do I believe? Oh no! Okay, I'll tell you what I've put right now.
Ferrari P5.
P5 I have put Ferrari, and no, I haven't.
Yes.
For P5 I've put Alfa Romeo. P4 I've put Tauri. I almost want to change it now because you're completely right, and I'm sure I put Alfa Romeo lower than you probably put them as well.
Yes.
No, you know what? I'm going to stick with what I put. Alfa Romeo P5. we've seen Tonio's mistakes. Somatic Coast, I think, will have low attendance. MCL's missing 3 of the first races. Fetch had a struggled season. The Div 4's pretty good, I won't lie. I think there's stuff to iron out with this team. And that's fair to say. Because if they're going into the season thinking they're going to fight for the OTC, it's fair, but I hope they don't get their standards up, their hopes up, because the competition's really strong up here. I do think that Alfa Romeo will finish third. I think Tauri finished fourth. Again, very similar. They've got a relatively similar lineup to what they had last season in terms of ability, maybe a bit of improvements. They've got a couple of new drivers. I think it'll be good enough. I think Reese will be a boatload of points, just a weekly. If they ever have a bad weekend, they'll be okay. Reese will get a top 3. It's fine. I think they've got a very good lineup. I believe that Pistol Peter and Reese will be good together. As in Reese Tom, we together be good together in Div 4. But I have put them P4. But who have you put P4?
I kind of want to do my P4 and my P3 together, but I won't.
Go for it. No, go for it.
I think the fight between them two is going to go down to Haas and Alpha, and I think they're going to have very different weak points in their seasons. I feel like Alpha's is going to be attendance.
Alfa
I
Romeo.
feel like, yeah. I feel Alfa Romeo is going to be, like I said, attendance. Like I said, I feel like Haas is going to be a team that is too top heavy.
What do you mean?
I feel like they've got some fantastic names in here, but I feel like not even so much top heavy. I feel like all the drivers are in that 1.5 fight we talked about. I feel like you look like I think it's Snowy and Sleek. I think Sleek might be in the front fight, but I think Snowy's in with the likes of me and Banjo and stuff. Personally, I think that I haven't seen his race pace and his consistency. He can be up there for sure, but then so can I, so can Banjo, so can Neb. I feel like Kalik has his ways through, but then I feel like Jamie needs to turn up. I feel like the OJ is in and around that like just second fight, kind of second pack fight. Both are different drivers are, to be honest. I just feel like across the board with Haas, they're just that 1.5 team, not quite Formula One. They're that 1.5. I think they're at the front of the 1.5, which is why I'm putting them for third, and I can't choose which way. I think which way round that goes. I have honestly put Haas fourth, Alpha third. I feel like Alpha have the better caliber of drivers if they turn up and don't make mistakes. I feel like Haas might pip it if Alpha aren't consistent.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Haas are going to be more consistent, but I just feel like they're going to be consistent. I think their level's going to be slightly lower, but they're going to be doing it more consistently. And that's my 3 and my 4.
That's very interesting you said that, because I've gone very different. I said 5 and 4 I put Romeo and Tauri. P3 I've not gone for Haas. I've gone for McLaren. Asteroid intensifies in the chat.
He says bolt upright in his seat from Japan.
From Japan. Wait, what? What am I woken up to? I think the McLaren have got a very good lineup. Skiz, Cady, Teshubi alone, boatload of points. Hopefully Baldy is going to develop as a driver. And I hope he does, because he hasn't got a teammate. That free seat is going to be a nightmare, I think, if they don't fill it with someone that... It's not even like fill it with someone. It's going to have to be someone that level, and they've left it too late. They have. I think all of the top drivers have gone. So that's either a recruitment job or making the best of a driver they can maybe develop in one of the reserves. I think that's going to hold them back a lot. I think Koi showed that he was a bit... He had moments of being reckless. I think Matteo Manga, he's definitely a potential driver for some big points, but it isn't there always. Bit track dependent, I think. I think P3 is very good. I think P3 is not something, again, staying the same as where they did last season. It's not something to be upset about. P3 is still very, very good. It's an improvement on its own, but I think P3 is where they will finish. Well, I know you're P2.
I'll tell you why I put McLaren P2. I'll tell you why I put McLaren P2. Just because we're on the topic of McLaren. I feel like the Div 3 point farm is going to be insane. I feel like the Teshubi point farm is going to be insane. I feel like Cynthia, if he turns up, will be enough of a filter points. I feel like Div 2 is a bit of a weakness. And I think Baldy, if he again can consult that consistency, is going to do very good at consistent, good, decent points. Like he's going to be top 10 very regularly in that division.
Yeah.
Even their Div 1 is going to be... Div 1... Syntium can be very easily be top 10 in that division. Their Div 2 can very easily be top 10, both of them, every race.
Yeah.
I feel like the Div 3 and the Tashubi point farm is going to be too crazy.
Yeah.
That's my only worry.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I mean, P2, I have gone for Haas. I think they've got a really, really strong lineup. I think that's very fair to say that it's going to be a McLaren Haas kind of 2-3. I mean, I know you put Haas 4 as well with Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
I think looking at Haas, I mean, the Div 4 lineup is a team that could probably win the Constructors' Championship. They're going to be up there. Kalik is a driver that's going to be fighting for the championship win, it seems.
For sure.
One as well, I mean, you'll know better than me because you're fighting with them. Sleek, huge pace. Snowy, maybe huge pace. You'll be in the kind of the breaking into the front kind of area, similar to you. Astrid and OJ, I rate those two a lot. I think they're going to be up at the front in Div 2. I think Div 3 is going to be the hold back. I think Div 3 was their weak point last season as well. They've gone for Failing and CGM Glass. CGM Glass on his day can be quick, but
it's
got
not a bad
tendencies to be...
lineup at all, but again, it's that 1.5.
It's not a bad... No.
I think Haas are just king of 1.5s.
I think you have to have a weak lineup somewhere. The money does not allow, you know what I mean? The names don't allow. But CGM Glass has possibility, but has tendencies to burn his battery, be a bit too aggressive. I mean, he got enough penalty points to lose third to MCL by an enormous margin by the end of the season. And Failing has real potential because he was in Div 2 last season and came down because he's able to do the day. Failing has again, I think, similar area, these two, to Liam and Melvin. I think they'll be there kind of fighting for the third, fourth.
For sure.
So not a bad lineup whatsoever. I think they will finish P2.
Very, 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 very understandable reasons. I just feel like they're a bit too front of the midfield to be for P2. I don't think they've got those, because the thing is, if you're consistently scoring P3, P4, P5, P6, you're still not touching the 20 points yet. Like I think the Skiz, KD and Tashubi 25 and 21 points or 22 points is it P2 gets. It's whatever it is in our league. Who made whoever made this point system up. Let me double check. Actually, we'll just make sure I get this right.
It is 21. It is 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the 25 and 21 points of P1 and P2 that Tashubi, Skiz, and KD are going to be hitting a lot. I think is going to push McLaren up into that P2 spot, where they were most of last season. So
that's definitely Haas's threat. I think is going to be looking like McLaren because for that reason, P1 could it be anyone else? They're going to do it again, back to back, 2-time OCC. It's going to be Ferrari. We hope so. We've got a lovely situation. I think, like I said, instead of last season when we had a championship contender in every division, oh amazing, we've got a championship contender in every seat. So it's a lovely situation.
Maybe not me, but
no. I won't hear that. You're valued more than Tano.
Yeah, but I don't think I should be. So.
I want to hear that.
That's fine.
Raven West leading the championship, was beating Reese. Had he not missed those two races, what could have been? A Mos Megan situation. If he had missed those two races, what could have been? I don't want to hear it from anyone. Mos Megan and Raven West could have been the champions in an alternate universe.
Maybe. But yeah, I feel like for the rest of that, that's very true though. I feel like it's title contender in every seat, as you said. There's very much. We've improved our lineup. To which is required to stay there. But I will, all jokes aside and all boasting, gloating, and bigging myself up. If there's ever a season that's going to be the one that Ferrari topple, it's going to be this one. A sprint season, anything can happen. One bad weekend, and you're in a very bad situation in the overall. It just can change in a heartbeat. Racing changes very quickly anyway. There's still going to be a lot of races, but over a short season, it's going to be. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So I'm worried, and that's why I've gone so aggressive with my spending and just getting just a stacked lineup, because I don't want to lose my overall yet, boys. I can't lie to you. I like winning it. It's my little thing. I like winning the overall. I don't mind losing a constructors. I don't mind losing a drivers. It's the overall's one I care the most about, and I'm not ready to lose it yet. So I have put myself down as the winner of that, but I can only hope.
Always the best we can. For the final prediction, before we wrap up this and go to, or for everyone else, watch the Div 4 race, it will be our crazy prediction. I'm going to go first. You know what, actually, you're going to go first because I like my one to finish off everything.
Okay. I think there will be at least 3 title contenders in every division in Vegas.
Ooh,
at least 3.
I like that.
At least 3. At least 3.
That is delicious. That is dreamworthy. As a commentator, that is dreamworthy. That is that's what we only dream about.
For sure.
By title fighter, as in the striking range, as in like 25 points away, or like actually genuinely could do it.
As in, yeah. We're watching them in the race to fight the title. Like they're going into Vegas to fight the title.
Okay. Unfortunately, I had limited time making my crazy prediction, so I've had to go a little bit silly. But I has, but it is definitely something that could genuinely happen. Excuse me. My crazy prediction is that AlphaTauri have made a mistake, and Pink will do less than 50% of the races this season.
Oh my day! Right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tuning in to XRS Plus. It's been a great. It's great to have you on. It's great to have you listening along. Join us for what's going to be an incredible season, I'm sure. Avi will be here at times to talk you through some highlights and some points. You'll hear his voice all the time in the commentary. He's here to come races himself and try and defend his title. I'm here to defend my overall. Everything's to play for. It's gonna be so much fun. And yes, as always, thanks to all those for tuning in. Thanks for those who are participating. Thanks to the staff, the members, the TPs, the stewards, everyone in between. You're all a very, very special part of XRS. Let's have a great season, boys. And tune in for the next podcast, though. Tune in for the next podcast where we're going to be reacting to our season 1 predictions to see how wrong we got them. Until then, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have a good one.